Galgun. A game I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while. How bad can it be? Oh man, I feel funny. How long was I playing that for? One minute I was looking at a massively awkward game and next... Hello everybody, my name is Nick Stone and welcome to Nick's Random Reviews, the show where things aren't always what they seem. Especially today. What the hell happened? This better have something to do with that game I'm talking about today, because after last week's episode of Major Breakdowns, I don't think I can take much more. Unless this is the course of that breakdown, then I'm in a lot of shit. Seeing as the past few episodes have been involved breaking down the beautiful memories of nostalgia because of greedy companies, I thought we would take a look at a game that has been out for a while and is very, very interesting. Now, as we know, Japan is such a magical land where anything can happen. And when I say anything, I mean all sexual boundaries are crossed and exploited, to the point where you look at yourself and go, why do I feel so ashamed? This is where we enter into the lovely world of dating sims and interactive visual novels. The games where you play as an innocent or not so innocent character who go on numerous adventures throughout different lands, whether in the present, the past, or interactive dimensional time jumping, meeting different girls and either doing continuous repetitive things till one of them falls in love with you, usually involving demons and spirit creatures to spice it all up, or to have lots of sex. These games are mainly for those who desperately need a partner, or you know, say hi to their monster. Now, there are a million different types of these games floating around the internet today. People make let's plays out of them, heck, the Game Grumps enjoy putting their voices to them, but aside from that, you don't really see them being commercially released in shops, especially here in the UK, because they're kinda not safe for work and not really safe for the eyes of young ones who are browsing the shelves. And with the recent controversies or ongoing controversies around GTA and other games warping the minds of children, you know, because their parents are too stupid and can't exactly look at an age rating and know what's good for them, you don't really think much of it and they don't really get put out. And then this game came out. What the f***? Galgun Double Peace was released in 2015 on the PS4 and PC, and is actually a sequel to a game in 2011, which didn't get released outside Japan, so the fact that this warranted a Western release is surprising in itself, considering I didn't know there was a first game until I looked it up. This game is a combination of a rail shooter like Time Crisis and the ever so wonderful dating sim genre, and my god is it something to behold. The fact that this got past the censoring departments in the UK is a feat in itself. Created by Inti Creates, the same company that made some of the new Mega Man games, and embarrassingly, Mighty Number 9, we won't talk about that, the game is set in everyone's favourite anime location, high school, where you play Howdy, also known as... Ew. Who is your favourite bumbling school teen, living in a world of multicoloured hair and large-breasted women who don't even pay attention to you. Until he is hit by Cupid's arrow, and the entire school fall for him at once. Later confronted by an angel apprentice called Ikoro, he finds out that he must find his true love before the end of the game, otherwise he may never find love again. This is added with defending himself against a demon who is going around turning girls into crazed dominatrix who will try to prevent him from succeeding. What could possibly go wrong? The short answer is everything. Everything to do with your innocence, because this is when we get into the real ingredients of the game, the rail shooter. Throughout the game you are charged at by numerous girls who want you, and the only way to subdue them is to shoot pheromones at them to give them euphoria, leading to ecstasy, which is coded language for shooting them in the noughties! I'm not kidding! You have to aim the what I call the pheromone shooter, god that feels so gross saying that, at their special spot, I'm not even joking here, and shoot them until they go down in complete ecstasy before they pounce you and shower you with, quote, love. Now of course, sometimes you have girls hiding behind objects in the environment, but don't worry, you're given a nifty X-ray vision to see through them and also their underwear. Dear God. And this isn't just with students, teachers are affected the same way. So there are sequences where you just crotch shooting teachers and librarians. I don't know about you, but my school life was never really like this. You also get a special Doki Doki mode, where you can select a number of girls at once and continuously touch their special spots until they let out an even bigger ecstasy scream, sending out a wave to subdue others around you. I know what that's like, am I right? Am I right? Alright? Sorry. This game is beyond crazy. You're trying to cover this molesting and raunchy fiddle-thon with fancy words to confuse the teens playing this. I know exactly what this is. Absolute uncensored filth. And it is proud of what it does. It knows how to make you feel awkward, as it puts you in different locations and situations which get even weirder. But where is the love aspect of the game? Well, that is where characters, unless you played it a few times, Shinobu and Mara come into the scene, who are your childhood friends who haven't spoken to you in 3 years. It's like Persuasion, but with more sex. So closer to the lake house then. But that didn't have any... Okay, let's just continue. But this tender moment isn't exactly given to you in a sweet way, because you are instantly told to pick one which you want to go out with even before the game starts. Because that's how you sum up character development and emotions. You just go, hey, here's which one would you rather fondle? Don't be shy, it's just love. The big difference between these two characters though is that the spell doesn't work on them as they are protected by the demon hunting blood. So it just turns into a dating sim at this point where you fiddle about and try and confess your feelings to one of them, filling up a gauge which will show them falling for you as the game progresses. Because, you know, you're not on the clock or anything. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, that is so sweet. That means you have to build up someone's trust and affection like you would do in real life. No. It means you stalk them and get moments where you molest them without consent and disguising it as you helping them. Let me give you an example. Let's say you pick Shinobu as the girl you want to be with. She is headstrong, very confident, and can kick butt when the time is right, until she gets stuck climbing out of a window. And this is when I could no longer look at my controller the same way ever again. In this sequence, you have to relax her by shooting special spots on her body to calm her down, which in all fairness should be doing the exact opposite if you're in that situation. Added with using the touchpad in your controller to move your finger in different directions to build up her euphoria bar. At one point, pushing and pulling her body continuously to get her free. I am so happy the voice actors are in Japanese. I hope I never know what they are saying because I felt so awkward doing this. I'm just glad I live alone because if my mother walked in on me doing this, I would have no idea how to explain what was happening that wouldn't involve an awkward talk. Luckily this kind of scenario only happens a couple of times in the game, but dear God is it awkward when it happens. It just shows these still images to further enhance the crudeness of the game. I mean seriously, I know it's supposed to be sexual, but this is being commercially distributed. Children are walking into shops and picking up games and going, Mum, what's that lady doing? Well okay, they wouldn't, but from my brief experience at work in a game, anything is possible. This type of game should be behind the counter like cigarettes, alcohol and porn mags. Not that game sells them. The most extreme they have behind the counter is Red Bull cans which we have to request for. But the point still stands. This should not be a 16, and funnier yet, rumour has it that when this was first released in the US, someone accidentally marked the game as E for everyone. How do you manage that? And if you're wondering what the actual ending of the game is, well, what happens is that after you've shot enough girls in the clunge, the demon gets a mutant vegetable to tentacle up your love interest and you essentially shoot his uvula. Or his internal balls. I'm not sure which, they're both gross to see on a vegetable. And in the end you save the one you love. And that is not where the game ends though. Going back to the Shinobu selection path, you instead have to find out the character's true feelings, which can be something like insecurity or just horny. It wouldn't surprise me considering what I've been put through, but when you finally figure it out, you have to make sure that the affection gauge is at 100%, otherwise you will not get the happy ending. Actually, That's wrong. You will get a happy ending of sorts, just not the love one. So the game goes in a direction kind of like Dragon's Lair 2 does. You have to make sure you have done everything you can just to get a good ending, which is a clever stunt considering the game only lasts about an hour or so the replay value is very important in this. But of course, what can be said about this extremely raunchy, unadulterated excuse for a game as a whole, to make you either go and buy it, or go and look at the images and shuffle one out? For what it's worth, the actual rail shooter aspect of the game is very challenging and a lot of fun. Once you get past the amount of jailbait you're shooting in parts that will send you down for 20 years just for looking at. If the story was a lot more compelling and not so much about being a perv and fumbling about with feelings, because seriously, if you have to tell a girl something because your life depends on it, you do it as soon as you can. Don't f around, and seriously, these girls must be way faster than you, it seems. I had to run around a whole school to find someone, only for them to run off again. I mean, come on, what are you doing? Just going, okay, I'll give you a head start. Because I think by the third time she ran off, I was pretty much sick of her. I actually thought you were going to get an opposite choice, which would have been very clever on the game's part. The only clever thing this game managed to do was 1, give me the incentive to play it again because of that stupid gauge meter, and 2, getting released commercially. With all the stupidity with parents complaining because they expect everyone to raise their kid for them, I applaud you for doing that alone, and please continue this route you're going in. I would love to see how far we go down the rabbit hole. But maybe instead of fumbling speech, we get an option to just grab the woman and say what we need to say, because seriously, after what you've done, this should be easy enough, and telling her to shut her face and express all your feelings in one. Either you will win the game, or you will be in intensive care, whichever is fine. Now, if you want to see more of this gameplay, I'm actually considering uploading a session of it this week in the TM Pixel slot. So I would highly recommend you checking it out, or at least storing it for your bank later. And if you feel like something crazy or extremely perverted, I would highly recommend this game. For all its perviness and the awkward moments, it's not that bad of a game. It's actually a fresh change compared to all the other games out there, and it in some way has a cutesy style to it. But as always, thank you for watching this very obscure episode of Nick's Random Reviews, and always remember to like, share and subscribe and check out more on my channel. But until next time, I've been Nick Starwood, and I shall see you next time. Now what's this section called the dressing room? I haven't said— oh god, no! Right, how am I going to reverse this? Is there some sort of medication for it? Or maybe I have to have sex with someone in the real world, like in Cool World. I've actually got to watch that again. That was like a gritty Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I kind of like this game, oddly enough.